Portions of Daytime at 9 are sponsored by the following.
Hi, and welcome back to Daytime at 9. Now we're going to go inside the walls of PSJA ISD to get an in-depth perspective of the benefits offered to students through their comprehensive STEM program. Let's take a look.
Here at T-STEM we have the Robotics Team 3029. So basically we're considered the football team of the school. As we go through the STEM process, what we do, we put a science, technology, engineering, math into it. So behind me is the robot that we worked on last year, and as you can see, it involves all of the four. So technology, of course, it's involved in the electrical and the building of it. Engineering, you have to go to the engineering process. And math, well, we do have to do a lot of calculations. So as you can see in the board, we have to measure it. We don't want to cut without measuring if this is going to be right or it's not going to work. And basically also physics is involved in it. As you can see by the throwing of the balls, we had to angle over the curve of how we could throw the ball, and so it could go the speed it had to go. I am the vice president of this club, so this club really means a lot to me. I feel like STEM is really involved, and that's what I really want to do when I grow up. I want to be a robotics engineer, so this is a really good way for me to practice all the engineering skills that I need to do.
It's easy for students to receive the proper training supported by innovative tools, technologies, and ready-to-use resources.
One thing that I would like to share the most about this early college high school is that everything has to be STEM nowadays, the orientation, everything. So one thing that has been really helping me was the fact that my capstone project has to be integrated later on in life. So right now I'm doing my capstone project on soil testing, which is very helpful in terms of agricultural communities and such, like here in the lower Rio Grande Valley. The STEM program helps to kind of integrate the things later on in life. So like as we can see here, a lot of the things that we're learning is like programming and such will then come in to help later on, since a lot of the things we're learning here involve technology, and technology is the future as in STEM. Our teachers are actually willing to put real-world concepts or real-world questions in front of us to see how we'll be able to handle it later on in the future. The hands-on experiences, like going out of our way, willing to go into internships or willing to go into volunteering systems or work to understand what it's like to use our knowledge or what it's like to use everything that we're learning here in STEM.
With the utilization of a hands-on, interactive curriculum, students have an increased opportunity to really get engaged in their own education.
I teach physics AP here at Thomas Jefferson at T-STEM, and right now my students are working on a project. It's a pretty classic physics project. I think everyone's done it at some point, where you have to drop an egg from a very high height and make sure that it doesn't break. There are some stipulations as to what they could use to build the egg, and some materials that were allowed and weren't. And I put those restrictions because it makes them be more creative. And one of the hardest stipulations was that I had to be able to see the egg at all times. The reasoning behind the project is that we're studying momentum and impulse. So we have to study how something can go from very fast speed to almost zero instantly, but you can decrease the force and actually help that egg survive the drop. So that's what their devices are doing. They're manipulating all of the variables behind impulse.
You see, the goal is to craft young minds into becoming researchers, educators, innovators, and leaders. And in turn, they'll become productive and successful members of society. For more information on PSJA Thomas Jefferson T-STEM Early College High School, call 956-784-8525 or log on to psjaisd.us.